Hey, everybody. Welcome to Buzzing About Romance. I am Becky, and joining me for this episode is Amanda. Hi, Amanda.
Hi, Becky.
And Jenny. Hey, Jenny.
Hey, Becky.
And Leah. Hello, Leah.
Hi, Rebecca.
I do believe that it is the four of us for like the next couple Sip and Discuss Wednesdays. So,
Okay.
you know, anyway, people better get used to this grouping, is all I'm saying. We're going to be in your face. Just to know, and we'll talk about it again at the end, but we will be here next Wednesday night in prep of Thanksgiving because
Yes.
none of us are really cooking for the holiday.
Nope.
So, so we said, screw it. We're going to talk about books on Wednesday night. We'll have our own version of Drinksgiving right here on the YouTube.
We should find a fun Thanksgiving cocktail to make.
We should, but not live. Like, I'm not going to make it live.
Well, no, that's a lot of work. We can just talk about it.
I actually was talking, this is so off subject already. I was talking to Nikki, and she's like, should we do another cocktail class? And I'm like, yeah, because the last one went so well.
It was a lot of fun. I was super, super wasted by the end of it, but it was a lot of fun.
I think that was pre-Amanda.
Yeah, I wasn't there for
Oh,
that.
you weren't there? Oh,
No.
That
yeah.
was
Oh, it
Jen
was a good
Ellen's
time.
first ever buzzing event, too.
Oh, wow.
And she stuck around.
She did.
Yeah.
I mean,
Becky
she
made
came in.
all the cocktails and then had to drink the cocktails as she continued making
Oh,
the
my
cocktail.
goodness.
Yeah, see, you can.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And I think we did 5 that night.
yeah, because there was fire at some point, and
Nikki
Well,
told us
Nikki
none of
told
us
us
were
we weren't
allowed to do
allowed to use the
fire.
fire.
yeah,
She's like, I will do this, but nobody else is
Yeah.
allowed to. She basically scolded us.
Yeah. She's like,
Which,
no
I mean,
fire.
she knows us. She knows that we can't be trusted with fire, which, I mean, she's the one who planned it, so.
It was a good time. It was a lot of fun. So maybe we have to have a cocktail night
The
again.
next day was not so much fun, but that night was a lot.
I mean, I can help you solve that.
no, that is not a solution.
Okay. Advil. I'm talking about Advil.
Well, yes, Advil and Gatorade before you go to bed, but I am not a spring chicken anymore, and that much alcohol in my system still is there the next day, like it's oozing out of the pores.
I mean, I don't
Becky
think
just gets it out before she goes to
Shower
sleep.
pukes do not work for me.
it does.
Just saying.
Okay, so back on topic.
Why would we do that?
Why would we do that? So on this episode, we're reviewing the Buzzing Book Club pick for November. That's the month we're in, November. The book was The Truth Never Spoken by Amber Cordova. This was her debut book, and it is the first book in her Baker Oaks series. And Baker Oak is the small town that these people live in. Who wants to do all the things? I think, is it Amanda? Are you doing all the things?
I can.
Do all the things.
So the release date was May 7th, 2024. Tropes are second chance, dual timeline, small town, sportish. He plays high school football, so you get a little bit of that. It's sweethearts, high school sweethearts, close proximity, microtrope. It's always been you. There is a dual timeline. The series is the Baker Oak series. This is a series of standalones, I believe.
Yeah.
And it's dual first person point of view. The put out percentage,
It was
it's
close.
not on here.
It was
but
over.
I think it was like 40-ish.
Yeah, it was. I mean, it was close
But
to
it was
50.
in a flashback, right?
Yeah, it was in a flashback.
Yeah.
I think
so-
present day was 60.
Okay.
Yeah.
I forgot to write it down.
And okay, then it is available in Kindle Unlimited.
So I think the big theme. So let's talk a little bit about this as we go. So I think the big thing of the theme of this book was the second chance, and we'll get to that. But one of the things that the author did was the dual timelines.
Yeah.
And I think that's something that's hard to do with pacing.
Mm-hmm. Well, because it throws you back and forth. Like you have like a good flow, and then you're thrown into like a different
Yeah.
time completely. Now, in like some authors, it works really well. Like Amy A.L. Jackson, she does the dual somewhat, but her past is always third person, so it like blends differently than like continually being first.
Well, we did those Ashley Muniz motorcycle clubs.
Mm-hmm.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
And I think we were all a little frustrated with that flipping of the timeline. It didn't, I think it's
Well, and
something that's
sometimes it
really
gets to be
hard to
too
do.
much
Yeah.
too.
Yeah, and they were short chapters, so you didn't have any real, especially in part one, you didn't have any real time to get into the current timeline before you were thrown back into the
Yeah.
other one.
Yeah.
Well, in this book, it was set up a little differently with the 3 sections,
Mhm.
Yes.
the 3 parts. And again, we'll give allowances because it is a debut.
Yeah.
Everybody's, learning. Writing is hard. It's not easy. But overall, like, so I think Second Chance is really hard to write and to make you believe in second chances as a
Yeah.
trope.
I think it's really like is like with this type of book when there's a big secret.
Right.
Like that's really difficult for me. Like why did you keep this secret if you love this person so much? Like
Yeah.
and then
Mhm.
with the dual timeline, like
Well, and the
when you
time
don't know
gap.
the secret either, like then I get frustrated. I want to know the secret.
Well, I think that the time frame was like one of the things for me is it's 10 years. It's like they're like past the point where it makes it matters. So it's like why wait so long?
And I do think the author did good setting up the town. I think the small
Mhm.
town worked. The setting worked. There, we were not growing lemon trees in Virginia.
No.
So I felt like that worked. The multicultural aspects. Amber herself is in a multicultural relationship. Like I felt like that piece was
Mhm.
really well done in this book. But Second Chance, and it's really funny because recently I've read a bunch of Second Chances and I was helping one of our clients at Bookcase Media with a Second Chance book that they were plotting out. And I actually was like, I think Second Chance has got to be the hardest trope for an author to write.
Mhm.
And I put it over on Threads, and actually, um, Mariah Inkerman was like, yes, it is, because I hold grudges. And I think that's what it is.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yep.
I'm a grudge holder. Like,
Yeah.
I remember who wronged me every time through every walk.
And then you waited 10 years to tell me?
Right?
Yeah. Well, and I think it depends on like the reasoning behind the original breakup. Like
Yeah.
it has to work.
Yeah.
Like, and also like the lifestyle after the second chance is one of my big things. Like, I hate the fact that like oftentimes the girl is pining and she is celibately pining and he might be pining, but he's a dog.
Yeah.
It's like, go be a hoe. Like, enjoy your sexuality. Like, and like, if there's like valid reasons for the celibacy, that's fine. But it's like, they didn't measure up. Like, dude, you didn't even try. How do you know they didn't measure up? Maybe that dick was way better.
Right. And none of us are married to our high school sweetheart or high school crush or love interest, right?
No, I
No.
met mine in college.
Yeah. I think that I'm a very different person.
Yeah.
Even in my from 18 to 21, I'm a very
Mhm.
different person, and I think for me second chances are hard when it's someone from their high school, from like their youth, because
Yeah.
to be honest, everybody I went to high school with, like, they can fall downstairs.
I don't talk to really anybody I went to high
I
school
don't,
with.
yeah, I have like
No.
my core group of friends, but I don't talk to
Friends are
anybody from high school.
different than boys that you
Yes.
dated.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I didn't.
Yeah.
I
date in
don't
high
speak
school,
with any
so-
of the boys that I dated when I was in high school.
No.
And I think high school sweethearts, and there's only who lives up. Like, if you think back to your high school crush,
Yeah.
who lives up now as an adult to that hype that you had at 17 and 18? because I am
question
certain
my
those
crush
men
choices.
those men do not look the same anymore.
Yeah, they did not all age
I
well.
mean, yeah, we don't either. So
Yeah.
Right. I do.
I'm
Okay.
gonna delight people.
You all know I'm a petty bitch. We all know this. This is Becky. This is what she does. When I come across someone from high school, like on Facebook, and I see them and I'm like, haha, he has no hair. Or, oh, you got fat. I've always been fat. Like, I've always been fat, but you got fat.
Oh no.
It brings me a little joy, a little petty joy.
I mean, petty pants are my favorite pants, so
I mean, they look great on you too, Leah.
thank you.
But so this isn't the Truth Never Spoken wasn't the only second chance romance that I've read recently. Helena Hunting's, it's not second chance so much as, but it's the high school crush to
It
them
has that
now.
second chance vibes to it, though.
Yeah. And while I really loved the heroine and the hero was a good boy, golden retriever, he pines for her and he is not a dirty dog. But I don't think I feel like he should have fessed up his wrongness. It's that secret piece, right?
Yeah.
But it made me think, so as I was reading this book and as I was reading the Helena Hunting book, it made me think of the movie Never Been Kissed with Drew Barrymore in it,
Mhm.
which I learned that Jenny does not like Drew Barrymore.
I need to know
Okay.
why.
So why do you
I
hate
sh-
her?
I didn't say I hate her. I'm
No,
said
but why
I'm
do you
not a
not
fan.
like her? Why are you not a fan?
It's her voice. Like, I don't like her voice.
No, it's fair.
Okay.
I mean,
And some of her mannerisms, I don't know. She's just like
You know, she
annoying to
loves
me.
mac and cheese, in case you're wondering.
Oh my gosh.
Oh yes, I saw that.
Have you seen that TikTok?
Yeah.
Well, because it was on John Oliver. So
Yeah, I was gonna say I saw it on John
John
Oliver.
Oliver.
too.
Yeah.
I mean, I love mac and cheese.
But so the redemption story I want, the second chance story that I want is the Never Been Kissed story. You know, where she goes back and gets to kind of right her own wrongs.
Well, that's not really second chance, though. That's like, I mean, it is. So, like, we kind of have to define the second chance. Is it second chance at love, second chance at life, like second chance with the same person? Like, there's so many layers to second chance that people like misrepresent it sometimes, I think.
Yeah. So the book was Second Chance with Love, like your first
Yes.
love.
Yeah.
And again, I love differently than I loved
Yeah.
at 18. From
I
18 to
don't think I
20.
knew really how to love at 18.
I mean, no, I was just a horny bug that humped what I could hump.
I don't like the person I was when I was 18. So
Okay. Well, we like the person you are now at whatever you are.
Thanks. Yeah.
Jenny was very clear to let me know that this movie, Never Been Kissed, came out in 1999, and she was all of what, 15?
Yeah, I was in high school.
She was in high school at least. I'm fairly certain Lindsay was like 9.
Yeah.
I'm doing the math.
How old were you, Leah?
16,
Yeah, I was 18. So
maybe
22
17.
and getting married.
If I'm mathing correctly.
Oh,
We
Stacy
all
was
know math
10.
is not my strong suit.
that
Well,
sounds
and
right.
I
I think
also-
I'm like 2 years older, 2 years older than you, maybe 3 years older.
I'm
than you, so,
41. For those of you who need to know, I am 41.
yeah, I'm 2 years older.
So
than you,
what would you
so.
consider Never Been Kissed then? A second chance at life?
Mm-hmm. It's like a second
Yeah.
chance opportunity. Like she gets to redo like
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
Her-
Redo.
Yeah.
it's like a redo. Like she really like she gets to redo her formative years essentially, and like she's a completely different person than she was the first time around. And yes, like there's like reasons like why she's going back, but like she gets that opportunity to reevaluate and reinvent herself to
Yeah.
like who she really is and not who she became because of her situation.
It almost feels a little bit like, you know, we talk about it being like a glow up, but it's almost
Mhm.
like a little bit of a redemption, right? It's a
Yeah.
chance for you. You don't have to prove anything to anybody, but you get to claim your narrative back.
It's almost a little revengey.
Yeah.
kind of like a, not necessarily revenge, but kind of like, hey, look what I am now. It's like that.
Well, and it also shows you that who you were at 16 and hormonal and
Yeah.
chaotic is not who you are at 20 something.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
I mean, there's a decent like age bump between like when like how old she is, like when she goes back to school. And it's like you are not, I mean, there are some people who are the same people at 16 as they are at
True.
26. And
Yeah.
I'm sorry that they are like, you did not do any growing, but like most people, like, you are not that same person. It just shows like who you are at 16. It makes a difference, but at the same time, like you can completely change the trajectory of your life by just making better, like different choices.
So, and I went looking. We have not done a trope talk on second chances.
Well, because we have a hard time liking
Yeah.
them.
I think we've floated it, but we've
I think we've
never.
floated it.
Nobody wants to do
And then
it.
we talk about how we don't like them.
I don't dislike them.
Okay.
It just has to be
I'm picky.
the right way. I mean, and then there has to be, and like we're talking about, there has to be a reason for me. Like,
Yeah.
like, your parents moved you across the country. Like,
Yes.
you
Like you didn't
or
have any control.
you had no control. Like there are ways that it can happen that I'm completely fine with.
Do you think that it makes a difference? So, say within this book, let's say that the couple wasn't actually a couple. Like maybe the dating had just started or the liking had just started to happening, but there was never any real clear definition to relationship. Some, moved, left for college, moved away,
Mhm.
whatever, and then comes back 10 years later. Would that be an easier sell?
Yes.
Yes.
Because see, and I wonder if times when authors do second chance, I wonder if they focused more on the heroine, and particularly because, especially Amanda, we are in our female rage era right now. I'll tell you about that in a second. But if it was more about her reclaiming her narrative, which is what we get in Never Been Kissed, right? She's
Yeah.
reclaiming her narrative. The Helena Hunting book, it was about her reclaiming the narrative and saying, look, I went on to be bigger and better things than what you guys thought I would be. You might have thought I was annoying. You might have thought I was awkward, but I'm more than that. And so it can be a second chance and even have the hero be the same one from her youth. But I feel like if it's not a defined relationship and then moving forward, they come back and find each other. It's kind of like they were in the same friend group, but they weren't really
Yeah.
friends. Like
Yeah.
that kind of friend to lover, I can handle.
Yeah.
But the
Like they were
long,
on like the periphery.
right.
Yeah.
But if they're like longtime friends, been together all the time, best buds, and it's just all of a sudden they're friends to lover, like,
Yeah.
never once, you never once thought, oh,
Well, I mean, but there are some that are that, and it does work, but it takes the right author to tell the right story with it.
yeah. Jen Ellen says, I have a hard time because we have the internet and cell phones and they can't stay in touch.
Right.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
and even too, like if there's an outside source, because I know I've read some where the parents force it.
Yeah.
Or someone tells a lie and, that the other person, just leaves and is hurt. And, when you're 17 or 18, you're non-confrontational to some extent. Like you're just going to believe it and kind of in certain cases. I mean,
Well, and I've read a couple where it's like they get into a big fight and like they are like we're done with each other and one of them
Yeah.
leaves and the other one like gets drunk and like makes out with somebody or like does something stupid. And it's like and then they come back and it's like, well, we just had a fight. It's almost like Ross and Rachel and they were on a break.
yeah.
Yeah.
But it's like there's enough like of a miscommunication, but they're immature enough to like not recognize that like we're just fighting. We can come back from this. And then one of them makes a boneheaded like choice. And it's like that is the pinnacle and like the reason they break up. And sometimes they like depending on like why they come back together has to make sense also though.
Yeah. Well, I think of Rockstar by Lauren Rowe. It's a second chance romance, and it's a book in two parts. And, Lauren Rowe's been writing books for a long time. Rockstar was not her first book. But the Rockstar lifestyle,
Mhm.
you do tend to be a little forgiving if one of them makes bad choices or gets in bad situations because they're a freaking rock star, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I know Leah, that's part of what she doesn't like about
Well,
Rockstar.
But there's always like my feeling is there's always a limit to the bad choice. Like the bad
Right.
choices are like inevitable, but it's like where do you draw the line on the
Yeah.
bad choice? And I think that's my issue with it is like because these are usually like grown ass adults, and it's like they're not taking responsibility for their bad choices. They're just like, well, I'm a rock star. It's okay. Like,
But
then that's
like
dumb.
that Devney Perry Garnet Falls book, like, I'm sorry, anybody who tells me that they love that book, I now
Let this
question
go.
every single one of your choices. Like, you're like, oh my God, this is my favorite restaurant. We should eat there. No, we should not. You do not know how to make good choices.
Well, and like Made for Romeo by Natasha Madison, like he cheats, but he doesn't cheat.
And it's
But
They're
there's a
not
miscommunication.
together.
But they're not together. Like,
Exactly.
yes, you guys can see me.
Well,
doing the
YouTube
quotes.
can see your air quotes.
I forgot for a hot
Podcast.
second that we were on YouTube. But it's
Podcast
like they're
can't.
not together, and it's just them not having a conversation. But like he does the work. Like, and that second chance and like that whole situation does not bother me at all. Cause like he recognizes like I fucked up and I fucked up big, but I'm gonna do the work and then make the effort. And she makes him work for it even more once he comes back.
But that was a second chance that if somebody says, oh, that's one of my favorite second chances, I will then take their dinner or drink recommendation.
This is true.
But if they said Garnet Falls was their favorite, they loved that book,
Yeah.
I now question everything. Like,
I don't know anybody who said that was their favorite book.
Look at Goodreads,
And
friend.
it's like people
Look
are
at
There's a-
saying that.
We could give you a
No,
list.
it's like no.
We could
Sorry.
give you a list.
That book was
Well, I'm just
and
I
that
don't
was
look
one
at
of
that.
those that it's a second chance that didn't make sense. And again, I am a petty girl. I'm holding a grudge. He married someone else for 7
For
years. And he laid
and
next to
raised
her.
child.
Every night in bed. But we didn't sleep together. Yep.
I mean, sleep.
Right. More air quotes from
know.
Leah.
She can do
She's
I'm a big fan of those tonight
she's gonna be
because I can do them.
Leah's gonna be air quoting. Okay, so I have to go back, Amanda. I had several messages from people that loved your book recs,
Oh,
but they were like
For the girl crush.
for your girl crush
I didn't know
episode.
where that was gonna go.
People were
Okay.
like, "What did you do to make Amanda so mad?" I'm like,
no,
I did
it's
not.
the world
Mhm.
made me mad.
Well, and I didn't watch the whole episode in its entirety like the night of. Like I've listened to it since, but no joke, every time I came in and you were talking, you're like, they're gonna burn the world to the ground.
Yeah, I'm like somebody's dying. They're killing
They're
people.
dead.
Like,
It's like
and then
Amanda
I didn't
has,
even
like-
get into all of it because I was just so like I was so worked up, and I was like I got out and I told Jeremy, I said I don't think I said anything like intelligent other than
No,
these
it
people are
was,
just
but it was
killing
just really
people.
funny
I
'cause-
was like
yeah.
I don't think that went well.
It went really well. I think it went really well.
It did. But it was just really funny because I kept popping back in, and every time it was like,
Yeah.
she's gonna
I
burn the
had
world
one
down.
normal wreck and the rest were just
But I will tell
People
you what,
unaliving.
you sold us. Leah and I are working on a TBR list for quick
Mhm.
shots for Patreon. And actually, you totally sold us on Emily McIntyre's.
oh yes.
I'm like, I think we're going to read it because the audios
Well,
are in
'cause it's-
Hoopla.
And it's one of those books that we've kind of been on the fence on. Like there's been a lot of talk about it, but we haven't wanted to like take that plunge. And it's like Amanda was like scorched earth with it. So yeah, let's read that.
So, yeah.
I'm a big fan of that one.
Did you see Jen Ellen's comment on the
Yeah,
YouTube?
it never accidentally went in. I know, Jen Ellen. Things happen. I mean,
I mean, morning wood is a thing. Like, really?
this might be how we get more people to read fantasy, says Stacy to Amanda.
Yeah.
This is true.
I mean,
I mean,
I'm here for it, so whoever wants to read it with me, let's go.
and so many books, fantasy books were sold this week for publishing.
Mhm.
And
They were.
Oh yeah.
yeah, I saw lots of stuff coming out. Devney Perry has one coming. But it's only single first person narrative, female.
That is a lot of fantasy books are
Is it?
that way.
Are they?
I don't know if I can
Yeah.
do that. I
It's-
don't like
Usually there's
I'm
enough action.
grumpy.
There's usually like enough action that you're getting like what's happening.
Yeah.
Are
But
you sure about that though? Because I get a little
Yes.
grumpy about
but
it.
we read that The
Yes.
Next Best Fling by
Mm-hmm.
Gabrielle
Gomez.
Gomez, and that was single first person, and I don't feel like we missed, or that was single third person, right?
That was third person.
Third. Yeah.
But I don't feel like we
I can
missed
do it
anything.
in third. I don't know what it is about the first and the third. Third, it doesn't bug me. But first, single, I have a hard time with.
Yeah, I mean, I think it requires better descriptions and
Mm-hmm.
you know, I think that requires more
Communication,
work.
like there
Yeah.
has to be communication. And a lot of times, like, it's missing.
Yeah, I think there are people who do it well and people who don't, but yeah, you'll see it a lot in fantasy.
Did you get an advance copy of the A.L. Jackson romantasy that's coming out Montlake?
Yep, I'm gonna read that. So
Okay, we'll be very
we'll
curious.
do yeah, we can do a I can do like a solo.
Sure.
Like, should you read it?
Should
or
you read it?
whatever. Yeah.
Well, I feel like it's really funny because the feedback we got from October Sip and Discusses, everyone's like, "Oh, you guys should do more of those, like, you know, quirky books."
Oh, that's good.
And I'm like, yeah, but if we let Leah pick the quirky
Hey,
books, we're gonna end up with like the trad wife cheating in the driveway books.
I
We're
went
not
down
going there.
I went down a weird road recently. We don't need to keep talking.
She
about
wasn't
it.
telling us to read it though.
I did not suggest
She
anybody
didn't.
read it. I just was telling you the chaos that I was ingesting with my eyeballs. I did not recommend it. I just was talking about it.
Well, and then did you guys see the Christmas series that I shared over on Discord? That's like the Christmas auction series novellas.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm excited about that one. It's going to be really good. Well, and then like Chloe Main's in that other Christmas novella series with like Evie Rose. She was in like that Heaven and Hell like
Series.
series. We
that-
can't get away from those.
That Heaven and Hell, like, I'm sad because did I tell you Adelaide Forrest unpublished her
Yes.
book
Oh.
in that one? I don't know.
Mhm.
Why?
Well, you know, she has a trad pub deal for her stuff as Harper Woods.
Yeah.
So I wonder if she's like pulling, but she didn't unpublish her mafia stuff. And her mafia stuff, so her first book, Bloodied Hands, in her mafia series is a second chance. And that's the one where I'm like, is it weird if he just shows up in bed next to you when you wake up the next morning? I asked Leah this question and she's like, no, it happens. I'm like, dude.
But you did tell me it's like you gave
It's
me the
mafia,
like bullet
yeah.
points, like it's a mafia book, it's this and this. And so no, it's not weird.
I went to bed with the doors locked all by myself and I wake up and there's a man next to me.
But again, it's one of those like subgenres that there's a lot of red flags that are not red flags.
Yeah, and he has resources that maybe the normal person would.
Look
Yeah,
at Jenny
seriously.
giving justification to breaking and entering.
I mean,
Hey,
now in
it's
my real
fine.
life, if I woke up to that and it wasn't my husband, yes, I would freak out.
Well,
But in my book world,
that Lights
Bad
Out
friend.
by Nevessa Allen. He's, you know, but he loves her kitty, so it's okay if he stalks her and comes into her home.
I do
I
like
have
a
to
good
read that
stalking.
one. I really liked her MC one that I read.
I'm really
so
curious
I'm gonna
about
have
that
to
one
check it
too.
out.
That was your book
It-
of the week this
was.
week.
I read it. I have thoughts.
On Lights
The
Out?
MC one.
No, on the MC one.
Oh,
Yeah,
I have thoughts.
I'm sure we can talk.
We'll talk.
you have thoughts? Leah has an opinion about things randomly?
Shut your mouth.
I don't even know who you are.
Yes, actual kitty.
An
He's a
actual
good
kitty.
kitty dad.
I was in the mood.
Oh, well,
for
he
it. It
could
just-
be a
it
good
worked
kitty
for
dad
me.
too. He is a good kitty dad too. Like, however you want to take that. There's your out of context quote, Leah, you needed.
I did. Oh,
I wasn't sure either, but I wasn't going to ask for clarification.
I could put because I haven't actually finished the coloring page, so I could put that.
That
He's a
is-
good kitty dad.
He's a good kitty dad. Isn't that the coloring
Cat daddy.
cat daddy?
Cat dad.
Isn't
Oh,
that
that's yeah.
isn't that the random postcard you want in your swag pack?
Yeah. Would you like a cat daddy postcard to color people? Because I will
Yes.
finish that and make it. I have the design done. I just haven't done the typeset overlay yet.
You're insane, but I love you anyway.
You love me anyway.
I do. I do love you anyway for all those reasons. Okay, do we have anything else? Was there anything you wanted to say about The Truth Never Spoken before we go to the next part? Okay. We're going to give our thumbs up, thumbs down, and what we thought about this book. Leah, you go first. Thumbs up, thumbs down.
Okay, so I'm doing thumbs sideways. So the book itself, I did not love. There were some issues for it, but it is a debut, and I see a ton of potential in this author and her writing. She just needs to tighten up her stories better. But I didn't hate it, but I did not love it either.
Yeah. Jenny, thumbs up, thumbs down.
I'm gonna go with Leah, like sideways, like because again, it's a debut, and the writing structure is great. She has good character development, town development. Like the story just was not for me.
Yeah. Yeah. Amanda, thumbs up, thumbs down.
Same. It's thumb sideways, and honestly, like I didn't get all the way through it, so I really don't want to like judge, like say
Yes.
yay or
no.
nay, but there's definitely potential. I'm not finished with it. I just kind of like it's been like I'm reading like 12 books right now
Fair,
between
fair.
audios and whatever. I'm just like all over the place. But I do see the potential. It's a debut. Like
Yeah.
I'm interested to read like more in this series and finish.
Yep.
See where she goes.
And I'm with all of you guys. This is a debut, so I'm going to give grace for debut. The pacing needed some work. She like the storyline, plotting points needed tightened up a little bit. I think that she did two incredibly hard things as a debut that for me
didn't quite work.
As an editor, I would not encourage someone to do in a debut. So I have to look at it kind of with that editor brain too. Second chance is already going to be hard enough, and then to have it sectioned into 3 sections with dual timelines, it just puts a lot of things against the pacing of the story, like right from get. So I'm not going to write Amber off. I think she has a cute little novella coming out for Christmas, and she has a new book coming out in January. So I'm going to continue to check her out and read her, because I think the tropes that aren't second chance, the way she writes a character.
You see the potential in her writing, and like if the story worked better, then it would be a better book for us.
I also think she's going to be an author to watch. I think she's got a really great, unique voice if she keeps going with the multicultural couples and how that views into this world. I think she's going to be an author to watch. I think she's got a great voice and stories to tell. It just, it's going to take, it's like anything. It takes time to learn your craft. And she's got, there's some margin of error there that she'll overcome. Okay. So that's that. Do you guys have any second chance romance? Stacy says she's intrigued by the second book because it's motocross.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And that's not something we see very often.
No.
Also. Okay. Second chance romances that you do love and you think people should read if they're looking for second chance romances.
So A Reckless Memory by Marie Johnston. This is book 1 in the oil. I don't remember which series.
Barons. Aren't those the Barons?
The Knights.
Yeah, Oil Knights. So, and it's a Baron Knight crossover. They were supposed to get married. He was in it for the money. She drives off with his dog. They come back together because he needs a job, and she basically sends him a drunken email saying, I would like you to work for me, but he doesn't know it's her, and she basically gives him treats him like dirt for a while. But he does show up for her, which is nice. And so it's a second chance that the breakup makes sense. The coming back together is funny, but it makes sense also. But they're older when their relationship happened also, so it doesn't have any of those high school vibes to it.
Yeah. Jenny, you got any second chance romance you think people should give a try?
I mean, my favorite Second Chance Romance is a Penny Reed book, so Friends Without Benefits.
Yeah. And she has a release tomorrow, right?
Mhm.
Yes, I am like halfway done.
Okay.
I am so excited for this book. I've wanted this book since he was first introduced in this freaking world.
It's not who you think he is.
I did not think he would be, but he's probably going to be so much more than I expected too. But also, there's Cletus moments that you just kind of are going to love, probably.
You all are
Because
crazy.
Cletus is not happy with him.
Y'all are crazy. Amanda, do you have any second chance romances you think people should read?
I had like The Third Baseman by Lulu Moore. That is second chance. They are together in high school, and you do get some flashbacks, but there's a reason that they break up. It's an outside force, even though Jupiter does break up with Marnie. And there's some time in between. She's married in between. They get back together, and like he kind of finagles the situation to where she's working for his baseball team. So and he has to grovel. I mean, he's a jerk. Um,
Is he a
but
dog, though?
no. Everybody thinks he's a dog, but he's not.
See, this is what I like.
But
She got some too.
he's a jerk, and yeah, she makes him work for it. But yeah, they had but you get the high school kind of before. It's not like that back and forth. So you get the first part, and then you kind of get the second part, which works better for me, like just the way it reads.
Yeah.
And then the only other one I had was we already talked about was Made for Romeo.
Okay.
So.
Well, I have a list. Almost Heaven by Judith McNaught. It's a historical. He leaves to go ask permission to marry her or to do something, and she's accused of being in a scandal. And then her uncle decides, it's Regency, her uncle decides that she's not going to be a spinster anymore, and messages all the people that had at one time asked for her hand in marriage. And there's a mix-up. She ends up at his hunting cottage in Scotland. Cottage. Well, I was yelling about cabins with Sydney because we were doing stuff. One Night with You by Carrie Ann Ryan came out this week, and she and I were talking about that. And I'm like, it's more like a house, not a cabin. Like it's a chalet. And anyway.
But not as fancy.
Anyway, Broken Miles by Claire Kingsley is a second chance. And they were like young, married, high school.
That's a good one.
And it works. Watch Me Unravel. It's a Julia Wolf. It's in her Color Blue rock band series. And she gets pregnant at a one-night stand. They sort of kind of co-parent together. He goes out, and as a rock star, the daughter hurts herself. He comes home from tour, and they kind of rekindle their romance because he starts showing up. But he is a dirty dog while they're apart. And she is too. She's dating. She actually has a fiance and ends up breaking up with her fiance to be with him.
That would not bug me. Because she got some too.
Yeah.
Winterville by Carrie Elks technically has three of the 6 books are second chance.
Oh.
But they're all done really well. So, Made for Romeo, Forbidden by Sawyer Bennett. They were college sweethearts, again having an affair in secrecy, and then when it started, potentially they were going to get caught and leaked out, and she was tired of being his secret. They broke up, lived their lives, and then come back together years later. The Darkest Hour by Maya Banks. This is an interesting second chance because he thinks she's dead, but really she's been kidnapped by a guerrilla army in the Colombian rainforest or something, the cocoa fields or something.
But had she not been kidnapped, it would have, I mean, that would have manifested the second chance, but like he kind of was like pushing away anyway.
Yeah.
So
We're Made of Moments is another one that's a really good second
chance.
chance.
Such a good one.
It's done really well. And Holding by Alexandra House. Crystal was one of my girl crushes. She was dealing with bipolar disorder. They're married, then they get divorced because she's not dealing with her illness well, and he can't live with her chaos, and then they come back together. So again, really well done second chance. I told you I had a list. And it's really funny because if you asked me, I would tell you I don't like to read second chance romances. I detect a lie.
I totally had to come off the cuff because I forgot this part.
I always forget
Again,
this
it
part.
is how it's done.
I put it in the show notes, you guys.
I know.
I know.
If
Who
you
looks
like-
at those?
if you like
Rebecca?
this-
Do we look at the show
It's
notes?
been months and I still don't do it.
I mean, we've been
Seriously.
doing
Yeah.
this for what, 6 months now?
I
Yeah.
know. My brain.
Like that
was-
makes a
it's-
difference. We could be doing it for 6 years and we probably would forget.
Okay.
But we have Goodreads shelves for anybody who wants more.
We do.
Look at Amanda. She's like reaching here. I have a
I
Goodreads
know.
shelf. Please check it
I
out.
probably have like 2.
Yeah, right. I know. I was like, I should
65
probably look
I
at that
had
before I
65
recommend
on
it.
my second chance shelf. But then as I was going through it, I'm like, oh, this one's not a second chance. This one's not really a second chance. It's like, I need to reshelf some things.
Oh my
Yeah.
goodness. Stacy says read Winterville, and I couldn't agree more. Particularly as it's getting cold and snowy, and you're feeling like you're in the mood for some
Why would I want to read about
Christmassy-
cold and snowy things when it's
Christmassy
cold
weather.
and snowy?
you could
I
be
like to
living-
read beach reads when
Oh,
it's cold
shut
and
your
snowy.
fucking mouth. Like you were like the poster child for oppositional defiance disorder tonight.
Well,
True
the
story.
boy child was really sticking it to me earlier today. So
So
I
you
think
decided
some
to
of
come
that
on here and
hit
stick it
us.
to me?
Yeah.
Yeah. We
Yep.
had some words. So this is my venting.
She's having words.
She's having words with us.
She's having words with us.
Yeah, but you guys put up with me, so
Do we have a choice? Can we vote Leah off the island? Just kidding.
do
Maybe.
you really want to vote me off?
No.
the island?
Who,
No.
who would I
No.
complain to every day? Jenny cannot handle that many phone calls a day.
Nope. Who's my max? And sometimes I have to talk to other people.
Right. Okay. Thank you, everybody, for joining us for this episode. I appreciate you so much. Do not forget to tune in this Sunday as we dive into the holiday spirit and load up your TBR with all the Christmas romance book recommendations you will need. I am reading them as fast as I can so that I can tell you all the new Christmas romances that are out and that are good. Also, I've only come across one that was 500 pages. Everybody else, it's novellas. Lauren Blakely, 500 pages.
You will see like Christmas books are typically a shorter book.
Yeah. Anyway, I just thought I'd put that out for Amanda. And next
I'm
week,
gonna get there.
next week we will be here for Drinksgiving. So bring your drinks, and we are reading Role Play by Kathy Yardley. So do not want to miss it. I am going to read it here in the next day or two, and I will come up with a signature cocktail, and maybe we can make that. Maybe we'll come up with a fun, because I do believe there's like gamer Dungeons and Dragons play in this book. Like I think
Oh, is that why it's role playing?
yeah, I think there's like some nerdy gamer techness stuff. So
Oh, fun.
we'll come up with something. So that's it for this episode. Until next time, everybody.
Happy reading, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.